The answer has been added. YSKM going to take a classic, a comfort for him, something he terrorized the league in his first split on. And Xiaoxu, the answer is the Cassante.
Okay, so we were assuming that Renekton would be towards the top side because that has been LPL meta so far. You blind pick that Renekton into the top side, but Neny had played a game of that Renekton mid before, so he is going to take that one there. Renekton is not easy versus Lucian though. That's bold right there. Lucian is known for skating around these bruises really, really powerfully to the point where Lucian was a top laner in the past. For those of you that remember, you know, likes of Xiaohao playing the Lucian in top lane, and you know, Khan, you know, these great players of that over time. They used to play that stuff into things like the Renekton, and it was a very dominant matchup. So Neny using that flex potential to allow YSKM a better matchup at the cost of his own.
But that's where glfs is going to be incredibly important for these solo lanes. You talked a little bit about that Renekton brand combo, and they're going to have to find it early potentially to stop this mid lane from being a bit of a problem. But this is a matchup of pride, it feels like, for both these teams. They're both sitting at the 1-1 mark. They're both in group Nirvana. They both need to make the top 4 here, and it's a single round robin. We got a long day in front of us, and both these teams starting off with a bang. AP farming junglers, and we'll see where that pathing lies, because bot lane has been the spotlighted focus for us going into this first one, especially with this first game. And I think On and Assum going to have those spotlights ready for their pressure. Now we get into game number 1. I think we're in for a long one. So buckle in, get ready, and let's hear those Jwei in Shanghai. The person that leads that chant is always there for IG, and I appreciate them so much.
Get yourself someone who supports you like that, crap, that chat leader. Get yourself someone to be your cheerleader like that, because I could use that in my everyday life, you know. Some people want people to narrate their lives. I want that person to lead me into battle.
That's what we want.
You know, it's like, oh, I just want Morgan Freeman to narrate my day. I think that would make my life better. No. I need a battle cry. Sometimes I need that. I need that extra go forward.
Hey, we can talk. We can talk after. I got you. Yeah, we'll see what's up. No, I couldn't imagine that. Sounds jarring, to be honest. You walk into any room, you're about to do anything, you just get a Jwei.
You wouldn't want King Theoden to lead you into battle. That would change my life. That would change my life.
Bring back corporate representation here from the ages, I guess. But as we look at this game kicking off here, both junglers going to be starting on the opposite sides. There will be a little bit of vision being played towards the top side. If they do end up spotting out, glfs could mean a little bit more information gained by RA to play around.
Yeah, so both teams are going to have information on the pathing start. You see already the lane dominance on this bot side.
Yeah, I mean, step up against the Ashe, you're going to be punished because you cannot run away.
Jwei absolutely monstering this laning phase so far. Landed a level 1 Q onto On, and we did say, you know, the Misfortune was picked in 4-lane dominance. The Maokai can struggle in lane. The fact that the Bard has very easily gotten that flash out of the MF and gets the push very easily on bot side is going to be bit of an issue here for Invictus Gaming. Vicla also pushing in against the Renekton, which we expect. Renekton is not easy to play into the Lucian. You get one flash play often onto the Lucian to combo up with your jungler, and that has to work out, otherwise you go very, very poorly. The fact that bot lane has a push now means that maybe Xiaohao can do a full clear and then maybe even go back down towards bot side to contest that, because his lanes on mid and bot lane are winning so hard. glfs might go for a bot side play, but because Assum and Jwei managed to get that push zone early, they're going to get Bard on the roam, get Assum with a quick back, and get Jwei trying to influence the map.
See a roam now from YSKM towards mid. Jwei will be there as an answer on the other side. I really like that Assum was able to spot out, even though there was a lot of warding. glfs had been able to dodge around it. Those spots. The hawk shot doing work already now. You get Jwei still pathing over here to potentially join up Xiaohao. Getting those chimes and going to be going back towards bot side.
Yeah, it's one of the bonuses of Bard. The more you get out of early lane, the more likely you are to get those chimes, which gives you more of those beeps, which is a lot of your damage if you want to take longer trades than just the short ones, and also gets you some experience too. And also you just get to, you know, flip a mid lane matchup by giving a double heal there. This champion is fair. You know, fun fact, Bard, I know it's a fan favorite champion. A lot of people like Bard. Bard is one of the it's the one champion I never wanted to own in League of Legends. I made a bid out of it overall because this champion's been ruining my game since 2015. Mazel, it has been 9 long years of him, you know, like Bard ulting me in the middle of a team fight as an ally. One of the few champions which can do that, like the Tom Kench, which ruins your game too sometimes. And then someone gifted me the champion, so I can't even refund it. I
love
own
that
Bard
person.
now, and it is entirely against my will.
Incredible.
Now, I do like seeing Bard in pro play because at least these players show that they don't always ruin the team for their game, the game for their teams. But yeah, I have a bone to pick with this champion sometimes, Mazel.
I do feel like in this game in particular, this champ goes ridiculously hard. First of all, you have like a lot of CC to stop the engage coming in, but Tempered Fate works in so many ways in this. Stopping the Pyroclasm, like things like that are going to be so crucial, but it comes down to execution, and that has been a big question mark for these supports coming into this series.
I also think that, and on that execution point as well, one of the things that IG have executed well on the other side is typically their team fight flanks. YSKM has been timing his engages very, very well with the rest of his team. I think that's also something that Xiaoxu has done well. It's one of the reasons I think both these teams can be quite similar. If you have a good enough magical journey, how the heck do you manage to get that flank? Because the whole team's just yeeted themselves over a wall through, like, wait, he's using they're going to be little penguins as well, because he's got the Winterblast skin. Awesome, cool. So if Jwei can execute that well, and maybe that can be the
Flash play from Vampire, keeping him away from the magical journey, but he'll be able to flash to safety in that regard.
So that's the problem of ganking a Bard, much like ganking a Zeri. If they're too close to a wall, the flash and the ride over the wall is so hard to deny. And Vampire now down that flash, really not going to help. Neny taking most of his HP in that culling. That was an entirely accurate culling. You rarely see those.
Right in the sweet spots. So that'll be Vicla without the culling for a little while, but nice pressure onto Neny. He hasn't hit that level 6 mark. Dominus going to be a nice reprieve for him, I feel like, in a lot of ways. We are getting close to level 6s for Assum and On as well, at least a little bit further off from him. But those Enchanted Casareros are going to unlock this team for RA. Now, speaking of RA, they're starting up the Grubs. So, Telegrubbies Episode 1 being watched by Rare Adam. Meanwhile, Dragon taken by Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, so we are getting a bit of a split between the early objectives. Vampire's taking, he has no flash. Vampire's just going to die here. Oh,
so
no!
much trouble right now, and that is easy pickup for Vicla. And RA move to get both early objectives now.
You just can't stand there as a flashless Maokai. This is the issue with playing the Maokai over playing something like that Rakan, which we called out in the back part of that draft, saying, look, the Rakan is probably going to hide the early game weaknesses and some of the vulnerabilities now that the other engaged champions have gone. And Vampire, you know, he's just come off the back of a very poor series for himself. Starting like this is not going to help him in a lot of ways, because this is definitely a kind of game where you can start to get snowballed on with Ash Arrows, with Bard roaming around the map. This is not a good start.
We're going to take a look up towards the top side. Xiaohao already level 6, pretty far ahead of glfs. GLFS not level 6 yet. Going to walk over here, see that red is being taken. All right, going to scoop that one away. So far, so good. And they have about a 1.5k gold lead already, Nymeara.
Yeah, and taking stuff like that red buff is going to add to that. The fact that you're taking camps as a farming jungler is always very valid. But the fact that you have Jwei so easily roaming in Vampire, who doesn't have that flash, who just can't really walk up to the same areas of the map, we saw that in bot side river, is now affecting jungle. It's affecting the entire map. Jwei's managed to roam towards mid lane, and we've already said, look, you can't really play Renekton in a 1v1 versus Lucian. You need to combo up with a flash. Really hard to do that with now your jungle and your support losing against the other team.
And it's also really hard because this mid lane matchup has worked out just about as we expected. We were talking about the Lucian and the Renekton. Neny down about 20 CS, and it's going to be worse now that Vicla has just gotten back to lane. He'll be very strong from the mid lane now. There's going to be the backline access question. He is always the Renekton, so time is your friend for IG. So far, so good for RA. Dragon still up on the table. A lot of bodies towards the bottom side of the map for Invictus Gaming. But we also have Xiaohao pathing that way as well.
We do. So, of course, that dragon wasn't taken because of the interrupt from RA just before that point. IG, what are they realistically waiting for? If they can get themselves to Maokai ultimate, that's very, very powerful, of course. The fact that Bard is up in XP is a bit of a rarity. Typically, Bard is someone who loses a bit of XP to go roaming, but those chimes can very much help. Griffith at that level 6 may be looking for a play if he can find someone from his pocket of Fog of War. Sapling's going into the brush.
They do not know that he's hovering there. The dragon's already going super low. Pyroclasm is available if he wants to get in there and cause some problems. Will be smoked away by Xiaohao, though.
Really dangerous to approach like that. See Xiaohao with the flash again. Vampire without it. Arrow's
going
gonna
topside.
miss.
Let's watch
Might
it.
be going top.
I'm getting my popcorn out because it hits YSKM right in the dome. He doesn't hit the hook shot either, and now YSKM gets all out by Xiaoxu. He needs to hit the damage now as well. He's going to go forward. Hextech Ultimatum to safety, and Hextech Ultimatum does indeed, as YSKM able to survive.
Survives, but at what cost? Ultimate and that flash down. The Camille needs time to get ahead of this matchup. Honestly, Camille is a 2-item champion. You don't always win this matchup that hard before this. The fact that you don't have that teleport, you have to leave that lane, is going to buy Xiaoxu a lot more time in this game to make sure that he is relevant and in the 1v1 versus that Camille. It can be won, but you can win later on if you are given a bit of help, and that is certainly a helping hand from Assum with that arrow.
Aces on the arrow there from Assum, and if he keeps doing that, I mean, he'll have a massive impact in this game. Assum steps up, speaking of, get a bullet time straight to the face. Zahn wants to represent with a little bit of pressure from his own right. We do have movement, though, from both supports out onto the map. Vicla, no mana, in trouble. Tempered Fate, not in time, and Neny picks up the kill. A little bit of revenge there.
Poor spacing from Vicla. You do not need to get that close. Neny didn't even have to blow his flash. That tells you how poorly Vicla positioned in that mid lane was ahead of that matchup. You expect that to be the case. This is now going to open up the grubs on the top side for the side of IG. Might see RA go up anyway.
Xiaohao wants to move over on GLFS. He does not have a lot of health here. He's going to be double stunned up. Now the Pyroclasm coming up big here. Xiaohao goes in for the kill. Grubs are still fighting, and Grubs are being taken by RA. Let purple be with you, I guess, as a double Cosmic Binding onto Neny. He will slice and dice his way out of there.
There's the Cullen coming up right now. Vicla might go forward, and this is the Bard magical journey.
Vicla's back, and he tried to get a little bit of his own. Now calling into YSKM will not find its target, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow was also used by Assum in the end.
Yeah, Vicla kind of starts off the play by dying in mid lane, giving something over to Invictus Gaming in the mid lane to allow them to start up the grubs that they can't capitalize really. Xiaohao on the Lilia gets himself the first kill involvement, but is really quite far ahead of the brand now with also getting a lot of those early objectives. RA 5 grubs to 1, and they get themselves that first dragon. Which one are we going back towards? This is after the mid lane kills come down, but you can see that Vampire trying to buy a little bit of space in this team fight, but it can be really hard to do that with a shorter range Maokai ultimate. The CC scales over the distance traveled. It's a little too close to make a big difference. Doesn't save out GLFS, who goes down even with his full combo. Neny's a bit late to the play. YSKM's not there in time either, and R8, they're just faster to the play.
Neny fighting off a little bit more than 2 there as Brock was in a bit of trouble in the end, and IG were trying to contest. They did get the 1 grub, but that will be 5 completed for RA, so something to think about after fights. Now IG are looking for Jwei in the blue side jungle there, but maybe even looking collapse over on mid lane. We have the 1 mid. Oh no, YSKM, he's in a lot of trouble as Jwei has made his way over, and he's just down under turret.
Yeah, really well played from Xiaoxu. Greedy from YSKM. The all-out cancels the hookshot. It's quite easy to tell when you can deal with the hookshot. The last displacement takes priority, so you wait till the hookshot has hit the wall, and then you displace them. It's exactly what happens with the all-out. YSKM didn't have the flash, didn't have that ultimate. Just used that ultimate as we came out of the replay. And now Xiaoxu, we were saying, you know, the more help he gets in that top lane, the longer it takes the Camille to really be relevant and become that side lane menace and that team find threat at 2 to 3 items. Xiaoxu gets himself quite far ahead comparative to where he should be in the game, and a lot of that is also being helped by the fact that Jwei has been so dominant so far. He's been really, really powerful on this Bard. I feel like this Bard, winning that early levels, getting that level 1 Q, unlocking that lane, getting across the map has been the story of this game so far.
And you have to remember, I mean, Neny sacked a huge amount of pressure in mid lane so that YSKM could have this matchup. and you need it to be going well. Trinity Force is completed there, but that's where I want to take stock of what this game has had for us so far, about 30 seconds out from more objectives coming up. RA have been playing the game plan. 5 picks, and they are perfectly fine. The timing for IG still means a lot, and you are getting first items for them, but they need to be able to buy time and then find their big combos in front of these objectives.
Yeah, and in their first series against Ultra Prime in the Nirvana group, they were good at those timings. So it was, oh, we can approach these fights at the right time. Everyone's here looking for a play. Now it's the timings are off.
They are actually going to go fully through with it. They were a little worried at what could possibly be behind him. Everybody else was on top side, though, as Vision's OP. And now Rift Herald started up by IG.
Yeah, so Rare Adam, I don't think they knew where GLFS and Vampire were, because Vampire with that Market Ultimate, and of course Brand being Brand, you don't necessarily want to be stuck around and over-engage against that. We were saying this yesterday. Sometimes it doesn't matter whether Brand is ahead or behind. Brand is still Brand. Yep. They will still do 1 million damage, which is very, very scary. Does mean that RA will still get themselves that bot side turret. Neny, yes, I think this guy has given up a lot for himself on an individual level. Arrow's going top side. It's going to hit.
It is going to hit right on the YSKM.
Oh, again?
And there's the Rift Herald charge on the Xiaoxu to knock him up. Tempered Fate goes in at the perfect timing, I believe. The flash actually comes out from GLFS. Did not want to get all outed there. Rift Herald still alive. On has come over. Big combo still available. Pyroclasm has been used. Hook shot out and back in. Hextech Ultimatum is going to guarantee the kill there in the end, with On helping. Jwei now in trouble with the double kill going to YSKM. There's the lead you were looking for. Turret goes down. Lilting Lullaby onto 3. TP coming in now. This is Neny joining the fight. Xiaohao and Vicla are going to be able to clean up one. Now Assum coming around the edge. He's all by himself, but he wants to stop the backs coming through. Vicla going to step up, but RA realized they do not need to overextend, and IG make a play back.
Yeah, IG, they still get themselves 2 kills. They get themselves that top lane out of turret at the same time, so they get a lot out of that play. Vicla is alone in this top side, but he's far enough away from this brush. Dominus coming up in a few seconds. Then he might look for a play, but it's quite hard to get himself onto that Lucian.
GLFS is behind. Double TPs. We're coming back for round 2 in the top lane.
Oh no,
YSKM's in a lot of trouble. All out still available for Xiaoxu. He's going to try to body block him. There it is. Stopping the hook shot once again. Xiaoxu is on top of it today.
So many times it feels like Camille gets out of those plays, but Xiaoxu, he just waits a little bit, waits until the hook shot connects to the wall again, and all out YSKM into the dirt. Just when IG get themselves a side lane winning play, they can't capitalize. Now RA have the numbers on top side to try and even up the turrets taken.
Tempered Fate's coming back up. Magical Journey over the wall turret going down. That'll be another one. Neny steps up as now Tempered Fate right back to stop them up here. Not much mana for Vicla. He's stepping up, though, to get some damage. And it doesn't matter because Xiaohao is doing work. Xiaoxu stepping up, too. There's a lot of damage coming back from GLFS. He's so close to the Pyroclasm, but it's not going to be enough because his team is wiped in front of his very eyes.
What an awesome Bard game from Jwei. Jwei is absolutely showing up today. He is at every play. He is starting things, getting out of the plays, and positioning his team. RA, they took themselves both of those side lane out of turrets, and if they can get themselves with 5 grubs onto this mid lane turret too, that is going to open up so many extra plays for the Bard to go into the enemy jungle. This starts with Neny waiting on the Dominus, knowing that they have the extra teleport, but they just misjudge how fast RA can get themselves onto the map. Reminds me of the intro to the first Halo game. You know they've always been faster. You can just kind of sit there and think, okay, they have the Bard Magical Journey. It's so much easier for them to get to the play. IG misjudged the globals and how quickly RA can get to the play.
And they take full advantage of it. For me, it's been about the structure takes as well on top of all this. But man, Jwei, the new member of RA here, feels like having a great series. When we were asking the question, can we see consistency, can we see stability from these supports, the Bard coming up clutch for him?
And I gotta say, I think this is now a great time to bring up that question. Why the Maokai over the Rakan? The Maokai couldn't help out in lane. Jwei immediately got locked. At least if you lock in something like the Rakan, it feels like you have better laning phase potential by, you know, getting that Q poke over time. You've still got that roaming ability, but you can be safer too. I really wonder whether this Maokai was the pick. In isolation, yes, the Misfortune Maokai is is completely fine. It's a good duo, but I feel like they needed something to hold this Bard to account, because you can see what happens when Bard gets through laning phase, gets to play like this. Bard has been the winning pick in this game so far.
Yeah, and it's also been helped a lot by the proactivity of Xiaohao, and I think that was another question coming into it, where we were going to see resources delved out for both these teams, and especially what these junglers are going to be able to do. We are now on a Seeker's Arm Guard as well for Xiaohao, so a lot of fighting strength here, but more importantly, second items are going to be very close for RA, and their fighting strength is just going to go through the roof, because we've said from minute one, their pick potential is ridiculous, and we're seeing it on full display.
Second item already in for Vicla too, so the rest of the team going to follow suit on that one, as you were just saying. Vicla, you know, he had that one not great spacing play in mid lane, and it can, look,
He's
sometimes
up 50
that happens.
CS, man. He gets a little breathing
no,
room.
No, that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. Look, he had that one play where he kind of just dashes into an exit, does kind of die. Okay. There are some games where in the past, particularly when you used to play the Lucian top lane, if you died once in lane, it was a bad experience. Now in this kind of game, though, when you can just keep dunking down on the Renekton, he's still got that laning phase versus that Renekton. He's still getting to a huge amount of items. He is so far ahead. He is a full level up. He is, you know, a ridiculous amount of CS up too. He is ready to take over this game.
Oh, we're seeing it. Caster Curse for Mel as the Croc is coming down, and Chance Crystal Arrow coming across. Vicla is still alive. He's still kicking. Neny can't get him, and Xiaohao gets the kill on the other side of it as two bodies fall for IG. That's right to the dragon for RA.
Well, it's just a support diff. Jwei with the heal, with the redemption, with the ult, bails out the side lane. This Bard game has been absolutely spectacular from Jwei, and IG, they don't have the tools to stop it. They let him get out of lane, they let him impact the map, and now suddenly on an early soul point, they've had every objective. Look how well Jwei plays this out. Immediate response from Vicla, gets himself the pull away of that Maokai, but then the Maokai Q bops Lucian back into the ultimate. Bit of an unfortunate timing there. I don't think that was intended, and it's quite hard to react to that at the time. But still, Vicla getting out alive from this is absolutely criminal.
It is a masterclass Bard performance here. And you have to remember, Jwei, like, this is a first big stint in the LPL. He spent a lot of time in the developmental side of BLG as well. Got a little stint with them back in 2021 as well. But it's been that question mark. Like, is he going to be the difference maker for this RA? When him and Xiaohao came in, there were a bunch of question marks for me. Is this going to be the difference maker to make RA an actual, you know, contender? And especially in this group Nirvana. And I think this performance is a step in the right direction as well.
Yeah, you know, Rare Adam for a little while. Just wondering if that E was going to hit. No, it isn't. Sometimes you just have to pay attention to that little swirl.
It's okay, you know.
Yeah, there was no ultimate from Xiaohao, but every time I say that, I'm just questioning what will happen after that point. But yeah, you know, you think about Rare Adam from last year when they were going through some different supports. They had Baolan for a bit, they had Feather for a bit as well. Feather's really matured into his own right onto TT as well, which IG sadly found out about in their last series, but Feather had a fantastic series against them. The fact that Jwei has managed to come into this role for Rare Atom and bring themselves some extra firepower from that support role is something that they've been looking for a little while. I think IG, RA, maybe teams like OMG, WWE less so. A lot of these teams which are not at the top of the table but have been trying to cycle through different players have been looking for specific roles to really upgrade their potential. I think particularly for RA, support has been a bit of a sticking point for them. The fact that Jwei is bringing a lot to the table feels like they have found something which they've been looking for a while.
See if that continues on in this one. A couple big item spikes, though, coming across. We do have the Rallies completed for GLFS. That one is huge. We did get the Zanyas fully completed for Xiaohao as well.
They are very, very important for how they play out the game. What are we seeing in replay? There's an arrow. Where did that arrow go? What happened to the arrow? Okay, cool. Right.
Oh, but they're getting somebody else. It's on in trouble now. Vampire going to try to body block, but he cannot body block the bird from Xiaohao. That will also be the Tempered Fate used to block off GLFS.
Exactly. That ultimate, again, is top-notch. It stops GFS from getting a big combo. Brand, with those two items, could have done so much damage. Just can't quite get himself that full combo through because of that ultimate. And Jwei, once again, showing how on form he is currently. Assum knows that the Renekton doesn't have the flash, and so even though he has a third HP, can walk up to that too. Assum has been largely very accurate with his arrows. Misses that last one in the picture-in-picture, but has been a huge part of the snowball as well. RA, I mean, they've gotten almost every objective besides one one tiny grub. It stops the Zerg rush, it stops Grubageddon, so we don't have to change the weather report for today, at least. So you can keep your windows open.
My windows are fully open. Not
awesome,
really.
cool.
Though,
well, you got
almost
to like
1
half
a.m. at my
close them.
time.
Okay, that's true. You can have them like a little bit open because
I don't think people will appreciate me
there.
yelling at the top of my lungs at 1 a.m.
You see, so I live on quite a busy street in Berlin, and we have the Euros on right now in terms of the football. I feel like I could get away.
Hey, you
with
fit
shouting
in.
windows
Yeah,
open for minutes.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm just another yob shouting, I guess, at that point.
I have no idea what that means.
Yep,
Right over my
okay,
head. Enchanted Crystal are going to go wide, though, again.
A yob is typically like what? Well, it's typically the picture of your slightly inebriated football fans.
Nice.
You are quite loud at all times. Look, it can mean a great many things.
I can put the context clues together. I got you.
That's a little bit of that's a bit of a Britishism.
All right,
you
cool.
can have that.
I'm learning.
You learned that today.
I learn something new every day. That's what I always say. GLFS has made his sneaky little self down into the spot side alcove. Get a flash there onto Xiaoxu. Now they're going to punish him for all of his transgressions earlier, and GLFS picks that one up. They go for the turret as well and going to block that TP.
That's a really clean combo. The Camille is at 2 items. You have Griffin finally getting involved into the game, and this time Jwei can't save the side lane in time. So that's a big win for IG. It's just a minute before the Dragon spawns. Now, losing the brand flash before that Dragon spawns is a problem, but the fact that they get some gold into YSKM and they can put him ahead in the matchup finally is important. This Camille can be a win condition. It's going to be harder this game because, again, the Bard can help you rotate around the map so quickly. And that's going to be a big problem because Camille wants to be playing through side lanes, using that winning side lane to then get entrances into team fights. If you have that Bard on the other side, who is effectively a semi-global champion with his ultimate, and then also with the Magical Journey too, helping his team fight, his team rotate, it's really hard to play that kind of style. So once again, Jwei having the options to control this game.
This is the comfort zone for RA. Looking for picks, though, as they do have Enchanted Crystal Arrow and Tempered Fate up and available. If they get somebody overextending at all, they will find them. Now, this is also past the 25-minute mark, so we have to bring back the conversation of the time that we were asking for IG to buy. They are buying some time. They're still away from their third items here, but they're getting to a point where their composition finds strength, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide again. Neny, a little bit of trouble. Bullet time used by Odd, just in case Vicla wasn't able to get out of that one.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a swing and a miss, because the thing is, IG already point where they are 4,000 gold down, verging on 5,000 gold. That is a lot, but they can still kill the entire enemy team with a good enough combo. It's hard to do that because they haven't necessarily got themselves control of the map, and they've just given over the Chemtech Soul. Worth noting, of course, in regards to that you do get some tenacity and heal and shield power from those base Chemtech Dragons. We saw a game with 4 of them yesterday, or 3 of them, or sat there thinking, I don't think about Dragon stats that much. These ones really matter, particularly when you're playing against stuff like the Maokai, getting that extra, I'm trying to remember if it's about 6% each, so it's going to be about 12% tenacity. When you haven't got any tenacity on a champion, that can be quite powerful versus champions like the Brand, like the Hookshot Stun, and of course the Maokai as well. IG need to be factoring that in, alongside the fact that the Soul makes it harder to kill people below 50% HP. If you're looking to get that big combo, maybe now with the tenacity and that Soul, it's a bit harder to finish them off and finish the job.
And I was talking about time. Well, you haven't bought yourself any time and objectives whatsoever, and now you're on an even worse timer in a 5-minute Elder Dragon fight that you're going to have to be ready for. So really want to make sure they have 3 items for IG before that comes around. And until then, it's really RA's map to play with.
Said, YSKM does have options now. He has a significant lead, which kind of exploded out of somewhere. That side lane play must have opened up a lot of gold for him. Alright, they realistically do want to be going towards this Baron now. If they can bait out a teleport from YSKM, that's a big win for them. YSKM is in bot lane. They want to get his globals, so he can't play the side lanes.
He's going to go ahead and initiate the back. The Baron's already going down. RA going to pull the TP. That's a deep one from Xiaoxu. They're going to collapse on a YSKM, but he is the Camille. Nature's Grasp hits onto 3. That will be exactly what RA wanted. They're going to Lilty Lullaby YSKM now. They're chasing him down. They've got so much speed. The culling on top of it. Tempered Fate going to catch out on the side. GLFS, he's going to pop the Power Plasma. He's doing a lot of damage on the back line. Look at that. But he isn't going to be enough, and he goes down. Jungler down might just mean these objectives go straight to RA.
Yeah, and Rare Atom burned through IG. They tried to get that global out of YSKM. They did, and then they find themselves the pick afterwards. No smite, no ability to contest this objective. And though IG were maybe looking for that big combo around this, they just haven't been able to control the map well enough to buy them, earn themselves that big opportunity for an ultimate.
They got to get in there and do something. On might get a bullet time combo. He doesn't get the Baron, and it goes over to RA, joining their purple form. They have transcended as the Vampire goes in. YSKM trying to execute Jwei. He gets all out and out of the fight now, though. Vicla stepping up with a double kill as IG are eviscerated off of Summoner's Rift. Everybody's going to be gone, and glfs just spawns to watch the bodies of his teammates.
Rare Atom have been so good at using this early game map control, just never letting up from it. Normally Camille is the person running the game at this point. It's been so hard for YSKM to play towards one of his comfort picks, though. glfs has flash, might be forced to use it.
Surrounded by enemies on all sides. He's trying to fight his way out, but he can't do it. One more shot. Xiaohao goes golden to save his life, but a team of thumbs up gives him the okay.
10 stacks on the Dark Seal, 7, 0, and 6. The Lilia has come to play as well. Such a magnificent game coming out from the jungle support from RA after a series which was really quite painful for them versus Ultra Prime. They were largely shut out of the game. They couldn't find themselves this big combo. They often lost those games very early on, and it feels like now RA, after winning one of those early games, unlocking their playmaking tools, the game has become that much easier for them. They'll be able to see, I mean, I'm sorry, I just saw the Baron power play. They have a 7,000 gold Baron power play. 7,000!
Yeah, there was a lot of
standing
standing gold still. That was something I was remarking earlier, is there just haven't been a lot of turrets taken. But we look back at this one and really good combos from RA.
Jwei managed to get a double stun by just kind of skidding over the wall, does a kick flip, gets a double stun, gets out with about 200 HP. Jwei, yeah, he's feeling pretty happy about that one. And IG, we talked about this a little bit in the outro to the Baron play. They haven't earned themselves that big team fight wombo combo. You normally think you just rock up to an objective, press all your buttons, surely that'll work. They haven't earned themselves that entrance to the fight. Now, if IG had been better on their early game, if they hadn't got blown open in this bot side laning phase, if they hadn't picked the Renekton into the Lucian, I mean, Neny used that to make sure. Well, look, I get why Neny did it, because he's trying to allow YSKM to win the game. He's not really ended up doing that, though, so Neny, he has been a player that's often taken bad matchups for the sake of the rest of his team and just tried to survive. He's down almost 7,000 gold individually now. IG, they've lost that mid lane matchup, to say the least. They haven't bought themselves that big ultimate combo yet either.
Yeah, everybody gets one, I guess. Jwei could have given his life for that one as well. Culling gets used. Nice little combos there as Pyroclasm going to wreak havoc onto Vicla. The turret is going to go down, though, and Xiaoxu has found an entrance. And honestly, it's been a holistic effort from RA. We talked so much about what we wanted to see from these teams coming into this one. I feel like it's literally picture perfect for RA. Assum has had a little bit more of a utilitarian focus in this one, but the step-ups have been from Jwei, Vicla, and Xiaohao across the table.
Yeah, you know, look, most of the time in this game we've been talking about the Bard because he's been kind of the instigator of the plays. I mean, Vicla's up like almost 7,000 gold. Xiaohao hasn't died. He's 7-0 and 6. Assum's been hitting almost all of his arrows. And Xiaoxu, in a difficult matchup, has outplayed YSKM multiple times. RA as a whole unit have stepped up, and sadly for Invictus Gaming, they have been just out-leveled across the entire board. It felt in terms of the laning phase, in terms of the early rotations as a team, they just have been a step behind. Of course, it's a best of 3. There's every chance they can walk back on this. Needs to not walk into Xiaohao at level 16 with a whole ton of damage behind him. Baron power play ends up being 7,500. Elders coming up, IG. Look, even though they are this far behind, there is still the chance that they can get themselves a wombo combo. It is into the better terrain for them around the Dragon Pit because they can pin RA into that terrain, but it's still so hard. They need to earn themselves that position to get themselves that wombo combo. They haven't done that this game yet.
Well, if there's a time to do it, the time is nigh, because that clock is ticking down to midnight, and it might be the doomsday variety. YSKM is in a lot of trouble there. Does use a little bit of the exit with the blast cone. Now, back into it. Neny having a flank could be huge. He has the empowered blast cone. Here comes Nature's Grasp. YSKM on the other flank. Neny waiting to go in. The Nature's Grasp being down is very big, but Vicla getting chunked pretty heavily. They will spot out Neny on the side now as well. Pyroclasm is key. Bullet time is key. Elder Dragon might be the focus now. Swirl Seed goes a little bit wide now as well.
at the blast card. Look at Neny. He's on the blast card. He doesn't have flash. It's hard for him to get into the play. That Bard is also getting some healing from those healing shrines as well. He's about half HP. Here goes Neny.
Dominus. They got the power plasm in there too. Bullet time stopped up on. Gets all of the damage put onto him now as well. But it's RA getting fought back. It's the Elder Dragon though going the way of our Air Adam. And they've just combined Atoms into fusion. And it's IG that paid the price for it.
You're right, RA, they combine into something greater. And the energy that comes from that just blasts Invictus Gaming. Even though IG had a good start to that fight, they could not end things off. The Elder goes down and pop, pop, pop. Xiaohao ends the game deathless and absolutely massacring through the team fight.
This is the RA that was just so close to being in Group Ascend, and this is the RA that I expected to dominate this group Nirvana. We finally see them rise to their potential, and it was off the back of utilizing this meta so well in Jwei with the Bard, man. You have to do something about this pick.
Yeah, you shouldn't have allowed that Bard to get that easy laning phase. You see that Ashe Bard and you think, oh, that's a bit of a problem. The Maokai wasn't the answer, and for me, you know, Vampire didn't have that much of a chance to influence that game. It kind of feels like it's a support difference. It's not necessarily Vampire's fault, it's just Jwei had all the options in the world.
It is a bit of a rough one. We got to keep our introspective look on those supports though as we go forward. That is our first game done and dusted for this first series though. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be